They have something to go for, some meaning. One writer described it, for some people, it becomes a magnificent obsession. And for you and I, maybe it doesn't need to be that dramatic as a magnificent obsession. But it has to be something that does something to us, something that pulls us, especially into the future. You know, there are many influences on us. One is the influence of the past. Some people are always pulled back by the past. Some people are always pulled aside by the distractions. But here's what's powerful. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls. And here's the other great advantage if you have purpose for the future. It pulls you through all kinds of challenges and all kinds of difficulties. If you don't have these strong purposes for the future, it's easy to get swallowed by a bad day. It's easy to be almost annihilated by a poor month. And it's easy sometimes to almost disappear beneath the waves of a year that goes backwards if you don't have something to pull you beyond that year. So if you want something to pull you through all kinds of challenges, all kinds of difficulties and things that come at you, you got to have something on out there beyond today, beyond next week, beyond next month, beyond this year, that pulls you into the future. And the clearer it is, the stronger it pulls. The more dynamic it is, the more it affects your life, your spirit, your heart, your soul. It also creates imagination. It gets your mind working on how to achieve that purpose. And if your mind will work, and if your heart works, and if your spirit works, and if you have good input, like good ideas, I'm telling you, there isn't anything you can't accomplish. So that's one of the great powers that'll make a variable of you, and that is purpose. Here's the next one, self-confidence. Where does self-confidence come from? And this is the best advice I can give you on that. Not neglecting, first of all, the small daily disciplines. Self-confidence really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways to feel good about yourself is at the end of the day to know that you poured it on. You did your best. If you conducted a meeting, you did the best you could. If you made a phone call, it was the best phone call you could possibly make. If you wrote a letter, it wasn't a casual letter, it was your best letter. At the end of those kind of days, when you feel good about yourself, self-confidence starts to rise. You know that if you can have this kind of a good day, you can have another one the next day, and those days become the weeks become the months, and the month becomes a powerful year. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. If you will not neglect to do the small daily disciplines, that's where self-confidence comes from. Part of good health is self-confidence. I know I'm going to be healthy. I take the Herbalife products. I eat the apple a day. I walk around the block. I do the jogging on the beach. At the end of the day, when you've really poured it on and you've done all the stuff, self-confidence grows. That self-confidence affects your health. It affects your future. It affects your psyche. So this is true. One of the great powers is self-confidence. Self-confidence means willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. Some people say, well, I'll do it for a little while and see what happens. You know, I'll try a couple of things. If that doesn't work, I'm out of here. And all of us know that that kind of person doesn't have much of a future. But if you're willing to do whatever it takes, if I have to learn a couple of things, I will learn those things. If I got to learn 5 or 6 things, I'll learn all 6. If I have to take an extra class, I'll take an extra class. If I've got to read the books, I'll read the books. If I have to consult with people who know more than I know, I will do the necessary consulting. Whatever it takes, I will do. That starts to develop unbelievable self-confidence. Self-confidence also comes from the ability to rise above your circumstances, to rise above what happens, the petty little things, the discouraging things that would sink everyone else's ship except yours, that would cause someone else to quit early in the day, but you keep going. That kind of willingness to overcome all circumstances, whether it's the little challenges or the big challenges. If you're willing to do that, I promise you, this kind of power will work for you, and in you, the variable, it'll make a difference. The third on the list I had was enthusiasm. And here's what I wrote about enthusiasm. Enthusiasm that's powerful is mostly enthusiasm that is enthusiasm inside, 90%, 10% outside. We all know what the enthusiasm is like when somebody lets us see their enthusiasm, which is like the 90%, and only 10% of it is inside. But the enthusiasm that really affects people is not just being loud, but the enthusiasm that runs deep, the enthusiasm that comes from deep inside, created by self-confidence, created by purpose, created by genuine willingness to help other people. That kind of enthusiasm, knowing that you're going to get the job done, knowing you're going to affect people, knowing you're going to have testimonials flowing in from all kinds of directions. That kind of enthusiasm. A lot of it is quiet. A lot of it is unheard. And the 10% that's heard, it rings a bell. People call it genuine enthusiasm because they know that what you say in the outward display of your enthusiasm is only a small tip of the iceberg of the enthusiasm you feel inside that really motivates you to do the best job you can. Next on my list to help you become the powerful variable is expertise. Wanting to excel in all of the skills and settling for nothing less than an outstanding performance. If you're willing to be the best in your field, if you're willing to demand of yourself excellence in skills, to be the best that you can possibly be. In the training, do the best you possibly can. In doing a workshop, do the best you possibly can. Developing the skills of using your personality, developing the skills of language, developing the skills of influence, developing the skills of organizing. If you're willing to be an expert in all of the skills, Herbalife has the way for you to invest those skills and not only make a handsome living, not only make a lot of money, but if you would so desire and if it would be your purpose, a chance to make your fortune. Expertise, excellence in skills. Here was the next one on my list, making a powerful contribution to you, the variable, and that is preparation. Well prepared. And preparation, of course, involves a whole lot of things. A big share of our life is preparing, getting ready. When we go to the first grade in school, we're just preparing for the second grade. After we've finished 2 grades, the 2 grades prepare us for number 3. Sometimes it seems like a long, excruciating time. And the time will just seem like it'll never come when we can finally have the performance that we really want. But it takes time to prepare. It takes time to get ready. And the decisions you make in the preparation time, those are the decisions that last for a lifetime. Preparing to have a good day. It's that preparing, maybe the night before, maybe the couple of days before the day that you're going to put everything together. The preparation for a meeting means that you've taken it serious. The preparation for doing a workshop means you're serious about the workshop. You want to make the best contribution. That kind of preparation is important. But here's preparation that's very vital, and that is to prepare yourself for success. Life seemingly does not wish to waste success on the unprepared. Life says, why waste a fortune on this person? They're not prepared to do the right things with it. They're not prepared to use it wisely. If a fortune was bestowed upon this unprepared person, it would probably be wasted. The people that could have been touched won't be touched. What could have been done won't be done because this fortune will have been wasted on the unprepared person. So not only look for fortune, not only look for the promise, but prepare yourself and ask of yourself, what can I do to make myself ready? Because remember, life was designed not to give us what we want, not to give us what we need, but life was designed to give us what we deserve. Every value in life must be paid for. And those that pay are the ones that get it. It says those that give, receive. Someone says, I wish to receive, I wish to receive. You don't have to concentrate on receiving. Just become a good giver. It says those that search will find. Someone says, well, I need to find some good ideas to help change my life for the future. Then to find good ideas, that doesn't come because you need them. It comes because you search for them. If you want good ideas, you got to go after them. You got to go to the class. You got to go to the workshop. You got to go to the training. Go to the book, right? You got to go to the journal, right? Go where good ideas are being taught. Go searching, go looking, because good ideas are not going to be wasted on those that are not seeking, searching, well prepared. So prepare yourself to be ready for fortune when it comes, to be ready for challenge when it comes, to be ready for opportunity when it comes. Opportunity comes along and passes by the person that is not well prepared. I want to prepare myself this year for next year. Yes, I wish to be effective this year, but I'm also thinking of ways. How could I be better? How could my ideas be more powerful? How could they be sharper, more clear? How could I reach some people next year that I perhaps can't reach this year? I haven't reached deep enough into my own soul to affect some people. Some people just pass by and say, hey, what a good speech. But how could I make it stronger than that, deeper than that, more powerful than that? I cannot be as powerful as I could be next year. You know, you can't go to the 10th grade and the 5th grade. You just got to go through the grades. But the more you are prepared, when the 10th grade finally comes, now you can cash in and get 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more value.
All right, familia, grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Hope everybody is having a beautiful morning. Let's send out those last messages. Let everybody know that Mornings with Nano is live. Super blessed, super grateful to be on this call with each and every single one of you guys here today. I'm gonna send out one last message to everybody. Just let them all know Mornings with Nano is live and ready to go. Let's see who we got here. Yes. So help me spread the word out. We just started. We have a really, really good topic for us today. We're going to be talking about being selfish so that then you can become selfless. And I think that that's an important topic for all of you guys to learn from. It was something that, I had to learn throughout my journey here. And I'm very excited for it, guys. So I look forward to you guys learning some phenomenal things this morning. And I got a few points that I want to cover with you guys. But before we do that, you guys know the drill. Let's practice some gratitude. What is one thing that you guys are grateful for this morning? We all know that gratitude is the source that brings the all good things to our lives. So we want to make sure that we are always expressing gratitude because it's one of those things that, always keep us at a high vibration, put us in a great place that, we can attract and we can become who it is that we want. So, I'm grateful for God and his grace. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my team and the leaders within my organization. I'm grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, Dariana. I'm extremely grateful for, the knowledge, the wisdom that I have. I'm grateful for my mentor, Matt. I'm grateful for Janelle's baby Sky as well. I'm actually here at their house. Grateful that they allow me to, have a roof over my head when I'm here in Miami. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful for coffee. Grateful for my morning routine this morning. Really good one. Learned some phenomenal things as well. Good meditation session. Good journal session. So grateful. I'm grateful for my mind, my body, and my spirit. Grateful for the money I earn on a monthly basis that allows me to serve my purpose even better. And just grateful for the calling, that I have on my life. It just feels so amazing to know that, I have a calling on me and, it's helping me out with life and just in general with everything. And I'm just grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano community and everything that, we're building here. This community is phenomenal. Hundreds of people jump on every single morning. And, still to this day, I can't express enough gratitude for all of you guys for sharing the calls, for, showing it to your teams, friends, family. It's people all over being impacted. It's not just, network marketers. We have, people who are on their way to work listening to Mornings with Nano. We have people, we have their kids, people listen, we have people's kids listening to Mornings with Nano. So, that always makes me extremely grateful that, I have that responsibility on me. And I'm looking forward to this call, fam. So let's get right into this. Let me share and go live here on IG, and we are ready to go. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about becoming selfish to then be selfless. Okay. That is today's topic. Becoming selfish so that then you can be selfless. All right. And, I wanted to do this topic for you guys because I want to tell you guys a little bit of my story, right? And my story goes as such. When I first started, the journey of entrepreneurship and becoming the best version of myself, I was always looking for ways to grow. I was always looking for ways to elevate myself in a way, right? And what I realized was that, I had to go out there and read the books, listen to the audios, and all these great things. But at the same time, I realized something. I had a strong desire to help other people. Okay. I had a strong desire that I wanted to help my friends. I wanted to help my family. I wanted to put my community in position. And I had such a desire to help other people that that desire was so big that it kind of took the desire away from wanting to help myself. I wanted to help people so much. I wanted to help my friends out so much. I wanted to get, my friends out of the hood so much. I wanted to buy my mom and dad that house so much. Okay. I had, such a deep desire to want to help other people, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but the problem was that I had such a desire to want to help others, but not as big as a desire to help myself. Okay. This is important. I need you guys to understand this. And this is something that happens with a lot of people, right? We have such a strong desire to help other people, such a strong desire to make a change in our family's future, to make a change, for our kids. We have such a strong desire to help others. But sometimes, we tend to forget and we tend to kind of, overlook the fact that we need to have that same desire and want to help ourselves. Okay. And I'll never forget the day that I heard that quote. And the quote was, Neno, you have to become selfish so you can become selfless. He said, you see, you want to be selfless now, but it's hard to be selfless when you haven't been selfish with yourself first. You see, you can't help others if you haven't helped yourself. You can't put others first, okay, if you haven't put yourself first. So when I learned that, I realized that yes, my desire that I had for helping people was strong and it was good because we do want to help people. That's our purpose here on earth. But then I realized that I needed to have that same desire for myself. And I want to make sure that, I cover a few points that I gave you guys here when it comes to, going from selfish to selfless that I think everybody can take with them here today. And the first point I want to make is that you got to help yourself before you help others. That's the first point I want to make. In order for you to go from the selfish to selfless, stage, you got to help yourself. Okay. And remember, fam, it's all about you at first. Okay. We got to make sure that we are pouring into ourselves every single day. For example, this morning I woke up, I had some coffee. I went out and I meditated. I read a book. I journaled. I had a conversation with Matt. Okay. I made sure that I helped myself first before I jumped on this call and help you guys. Because it's important that every single day when I jump on this call, that I show up as the best version of myself, that I had poured into myself already, that I had worked on myself so that then I can work with you. This is why the morning routine is so key. This is why working on yourself daily is so key. This is why being passionate about self-development is so key, like we talked about at the beginning of the week. Are you truly passionate about self-development? Are you truly passionate about working on yourself on a day-to-day basis? Because these are the things that are going to help you, okay, grow to the version of yourself that can then help other people. All right. So if everybody's understanding where I'm coming from so far, put a one in the chat box. I just want to make sure that you guys are feeling me because we're about to get deep into this training. Okay. These are just a few points that I'm going to hit you guys with early to help you guys open up your mind. But then we're going to dive deeper and deeper and deeper into this. Okay. So the point number one I was making was you got to help yourself before you help others. Okay. So we got to make sure that we have a solid routine that we're following daily. Are you reading every day? Are you listening to audios daily? Okay. Are you investing into events? Okay. Where you can go and pour into yourself. All right. Are you having conversations with, your mentor on a bi-weekly to monthly basis? Okay. Are you having learning lunches? All right. What is it that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that is selfish, that is for you? Can everyone on this call truly say right now, yo, Nano, I have 2 hours of my day in the morning, in the afternoon, in the nighttime that is just for me? It's for me. No phones, no distractions. I'm not doing it with my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my boys, my girls. It's just me. It's me, myself, and my creator. Do you have a time in your day that you can truly say that you are working on yourself? That it is a time for you, it is your sacred time. Because if you don't, this is something that you need to start doing. Because you're not going to be able to help people if you don't help yourself. How can you help others if you're not helping yourself? How can you help others get rid of their problems if you haven't gotten rid of your problems? This is something that I had to learn. And you know what's funny? So I can continue to tell you guys this, right? When I started to become selfish, I realized that that was all that I was missing. Because it wasn't selfish in a bad way. I know sometimes we hear the word selfish and we're like, man, we don't want to be selfish. And obviously we don't, because, selfish is somebody that just cares about themselves and doesn't care about others. But for a time in your day, it's okay to be selfish because you do need to pour into yourself. You do need to protect your energy. You do need to put yourself in a position where you are consistently, okay, putting yourself first. Because like I said, you can't put others first until you put yourself first. Think about that. You can't put others first until you've put yourself first. Because if you're not good, they're not going to be good. Okay? If you're not a good leader, you're not going to have good leaders in your business. If you're not being a good mother, a good dad, you can't be that for your kid as well. So you got to make sure that you're always pouring into yourself daily, because I've seen what that does. I've seen people who want to help others, but because they haven't helped themselves, they destroy others because they haven't healed. They haven't learned different ideas. They haven't made themselves a priority. And I know what it's like because I've been there before. I didn't start helping my family until I started helping myself. Think about how crazy that is, right? I didn't really get into self-development in my journey till about a year and a half into it. So funny how it works, right? So for a year and a half into my journey, I really didn't do much personal development, right? I didn't really think about it. I didn't start mornings with Nano until a year and 9 months into my journey. And that's when I really started getting serious about personal development, about a year and 9 months into my journey. That's when I started to take personal development serious. So think about that, guys. Some of you have been in this for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. I didn't start taking personal development serious until a year and 8 or 9 months into the game, almost 2 years. And you may ask me why. Nano, why did you take so long? Why did you take so long? It's almost hard to believe since I'm so passionate about it now. But the reason why was because I still had a lot of old habits. I was still that person that would say, "Oh, I don't want to read. I'm not gonna journal. Like, nah, bro, meditation is not for me. That's not something that I do. Leave that for other people, bro." I used to be that kind of guy. I used to be the guy that if you told me, yo, do this, I wouldn't do it. You told me I had to listen to Jim Rohn. At the time, I used to just think he was an old guy, and I didn't think he really provided any value or wisdom. I was like, no, bro, I'm not gonna listen to that. I remember when Darwin would play it in the car, I would be like, bro, take this off, put on some Drake, put on some Meek Mill, let's listen to some music. That used to be me, and think about it, for a whole year and a half plus, I was very closed off to the idea of personal development and reading books and listening to audios and going to events. Bro, I remember Darwin would take me to events. When I say Darwin, this is the person that introduced me to the business of network marketing and entrepreneurship. He would be, so excited for these events, right? I would sit in the back of the room on my phone, just waiting, and I just couldn't wait for the thing to finish. Like, I'm like, bro, I can't believe this guy brought me to this event. Like, this is so annoying, bro. And now I have to sit here for the next 3 hours and listen to this. And that used to be me, literally in the back of the room, taking no notes on my phone, on Instagram, playing video games, while there's people on stage giving us a sauce on how we can become successful. I was very closed off because I had that hood mentality, right? I had that hood mentality, like, yo, nah, that's not for me. That's for nerds and this or whatever. But it never helped me. And I was somebody that, Nano, at the time, I want to retire my family. I want to live this life. I want to be able to provide for my community. I want to, be an example for the hood. But, and it's hard to believe for some of you guys, and I know, but that was me the first year and a half in this business. That was me. And then I finally learned what I'm telling you guys right now. Okay. Remember, they say that in order for you to bring in the new version of yourself, the old version of yourself must die, right? That old version of yourself must go. That old version of me had to go. I couldn't continue to be that person because that person was going nowhere. That person had no desire. That person put everything else first except for himself. Nano was last when it came to that. Right? Everything else was first, but me. Think about it. Me, I would remember if anything. Oh, you know what? Damn, Nano, you. Right. But Nano was never first. I always put myself last. But then I wanted to put my family first. I wanted to put my relationship at the time first. I wanted to put my friends first. I wanted to do all of these things first, but never was first. And then I changed. And Mornings with Nano, I always tell you guys this, Mornings with Nano changed my life. Because yes, I started it as a call to pour into people and help other people, absolutely. But the amazing thing about it was that because I made the commitment to do the call 5 days a week, I was forced to grow every day. I was forced, literally forced, because I'm like, if I'm going to do this 5 days a week, like, what am I going to talk about 5 different days a week, 20 times a month for who knows how long? What am I going to teach them? After some time, I'm not going to find what to teach anymore. So I need to find out how I can become an incredible learner. And this is why Mornings with Nano has been such a big life changer for me. Is because I gotta make sure that every day I'm pouring into myself. I'm listening to audios. I'm investing into events. Okay, I'm having conversations with my mentors on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. I'm always getting poured into because I need to have ideas to teach the family. And I've grown so much because of it. I've helped myself out so much because of it. And now guess what? I'm able to help my team. I'm able to help my family. I'm able to help you guys out so much. But it was because I was selfish. I invested into myself. I had a morning routine that consisted of 2 to 3 hours of silent time on my own. I bought hundreds of books. I finished, 8+ journals. I've went to events. I've slept on couches, invested thousands and thousands of dollars into events just to pour into myself. Okay. Hundreds of conversations with my mentors, multiple different conversations in different places, different situations. But because I helped myself, look at how many more people I'm able to help. Look at the thousands and tens and thousands of people I've helped because I helped myself. So I think that a lot of you that are listening to this call, okay, needed to hear this message this morning because it came to me in meditation. I had no idea what I was going to talk about today until meditation. Meditation, it came to me, selfish to be selfless. I'm like, that's my topic. Selfish to be selfless, because that's what it takes. And going into this next year of 2023, we're going to need to be selfish these next few months, okay, so that we can pour into ourselves. Yes, run the business. Yes, let's go out there and build it all the way up to the millions and, create successful investment accounts and all of that. But don't forget to pour into yourself every morning. Because it's not like I'm saying, hey, go spend 24 hours pouring into yourself. No, what I'm saying is find that hour, those 2 hours every morning, every afternoon, every night before bed, and pour into yourself. Because like I said, point number one is you got to help others. You got to help yourself before you help others. And that's super key. Okay. Number two. All right. Point number two I want to make. Don't be the person that pours into people from empty cups. Don't be someone that pours into others from empty cups. Okay. For example, right here, I have this cup. If it's empty, all right, how can I pour into you if my cup is empty? Right. But if I fill the cup up and now it's filled up to the top and then I pour in, I'm able to pour into Eunice. I'm able to pour into Miracle, to CJ, to Corey, to Tiara, to Drea. I'm able to pour into you guys because I filled my cup up. Now, why do I tell you not to pour into people from an empty cup? Because do me a favor, type a 1 in the chat box if you ever try to give somebody advice or do your best to give somebody some guidance and it went in one ear and it went out the other. Right? It's like you try to talk to them, you try to give them advice, you try to give them inspiration, you did your best to really, really give them that conversation, but it didn't work, right? It didn't work. And what I've realized is that sometimes, when you pour into people from an empty cup, you can't really have that impact on them that you really want to have on them because spiritually you're empty. So they won't receive the message. Remember, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So if spiritually you're empty, if you haven't truly been working on you, okay, even though they may not see it at the time because you're doing your best to give them the best advice, but spiritually they feel that because remember, we're spiritual beings. So sometimes you just know, like, yo, this person is capping, right? You'll know. You just get that feeling. Selfish to be selfish. And you just kind of get that feeling and you just know, or just naturally, you won't want to listen to the person because even though they gave you great advice, it came from an empty place. Energy doesn't lie. So what I've realized is, and it's amazing too, because as a leader, you also realize this. There's been times where I kind of went on one of those those slumps where I stopped pouring into myself for a little bit. And I would run trainings for my team or for the leaders in my organization. And it's funny because when I was running trainings during the times when I wasn't pouring into myself, it almost felt like I would talk to the leaders in my organization and it was like it didn't really hit the same. And they wouldn't take the actions that were required after those calls in order for them to push forward. It was like it was like they heard my message, but they didn't hear it at the same time. But then there's times when I'm pouring into myself and I'm reading the books every day and I'm writing in my journal and my meditation and my visualizations are all on point. And I've been on a run for 21, 30 days of consistency in the morning. And then I pour into the leaders then. And guess what? It's like they hear the message, but it hits them even harder and they feel the message even more. And now the actions that they take create even more because of the energy that I'm transferring over to them. Because understand, guys, energy isn't created nor destroyed. All right. It is only transferred. So when my energy is high, okay, when my confidence is high, when my aura is high, when my morale is high, and then I do a training for my team, because my cup is so full, I fill up their cups. Now they're confident. Now their belief is up. Now everything works for them. And now it's easy for them to go and make those phone calls. It's easy for them to post on social media. It's easy for them to do what's required of them because I just transferred my energy into them. And now they're going to go and do the same into other cups. And now the energy transfer is clean and is structured and is amazing. And it works every time. I'm telling you guys, I could run the same exact training. Look, I could do a training at a certain time. And let's say I'm not pouring into myself during that time. And then I could run that same training a month later, but this time around, I'm pouring into myself. My energy is better. And you'll see that it works completely different. And for my leaders on this call, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you know what it's like to run a training for your team during a time that you're going through a lot. You haven't been focused too much on, the daily pour into yourself. And you see the way that your team reacts to it and responds to the way that that training went about. But then there's times that you're in that energy, you're in that flow, everything is working in your favor, and then you pour in, it just changes. You just feel it. Your team feels it, and they naturally just run. So never pour into people from an empty cup. Okay. And that's why us as leaders, we have a difficult task because we go through things. We have life too. That's the thing. That's what I always say to people. You want to be a leader. Remember, be careful what you ask for because great power comes great responsibility. You see, me, I'm a leader of my organization. I'm a leader in my family. I'm a leader in a lot of different areas in my life. So, with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, is there days that I'm going through it? Absolutely. Okay. Do I go through tough times in my business? Yes. Do things happen in my family? Yes. Do I have struggles in my relationship? Yes. Okay. Do things sometimes don't go the way that I want them to for me? Yes. But one thing I have to always remember is that I have a responsibility as a leader. And I can never allow the outside problems, okay, to determine whether I'm going to work on myself or not, whether I'm going to continue to work on me or not. Because we got to always remember, and I love that you said that, Jay, to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. When I ask you guys, yo, what are your goals? Nano, I want to make 6 figures. I want to have a house on the beach. I want to retire my family. I want to build schools. I want to do this. I want to do that. If you want to be given all of those things that you're talking about, there's going to be a lot that's required from you as well. Okay. And that requirement means showing up when it's hard, showing up when no one thinks that you're going to show up, showing up on those days when, you don't even want to do that phone call. You don't even want to do that training. Waking up and doing your morning routine on the days that is hard. You went to sleep late the night before. You had an argument the night before, but you got to wake up and you got to pour into yourself. You got to do it because it's a requirement. I have a responsibility to my team. I have a responsibility to my family. I have a responsibility to my community. I have a responsibility to God. So just because I'm going through a little hurdle, a little challenge in my life, doesn't mean I stop pouring into myself. If anything, this is the perfect time for me to pour into myself because there's some other places that are trying to drain you, and you need to realize that. Your friends may be draining you. Your relationship may be draining you. Your business may be draining you at the time. So because those things are happening, you have to be aware, like, man, I'm being drained in other areas of my life, of my energy, of my wisdom, of all of this. This is a time for me to pour into myself. Because you know what ends up happening? Let me tell you what happens, because I've been through it all. The draining starts to happen. And it starts to happen from multiple different areas. And because you're so drained, you don't want to wake up and do that routine. You can't even find it in your heart to pick up the book and read the book, right? You can't even find it, you can't even find even a simple desire to grab a pen and just write in your journal. Put a 1 in the chat box if you guys know what I'm talking about, this feeling that I'm talking about, that you don't even find the desire. Like, you're like, man, I don't even want to meditate right now. Like, you're just going through so much in your mind. You're going through so much. You don't even want to listen to that audio. You're just like in this mindset, so blocked off from everything. And what happens is, let me tell you what happens, because I've been there before multiple times, and I just once or twice, multiple times, where I don't even want to pick up the book and read the book. I don't even want to do any of that stuff. What tends to happen is, as you start to decline the idea of doing those things, more and more and more, you're draining yourself, and you drain yourself more and more and more. That's what's going to happen. Because think about it. Now, every day you're choosing not to be selfish. Okay. But think about it. You're choosing not to be selfish, but people still need you, because remember, you're a leader. Remember, you're a leader, so people still need you. Your family still needs you. Your kids still need you. Your team still needs you. But low key, on the low, in the background, nobody knows that you're going through it. Nobody knows that you're going through a tough time and you haven't poured into yourself in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But still, you got to be on those calls. But still, you got to run those trainings. Still, you got to run to those events. And what happens is you start to get drained, and you don't even want to pick up those phone calls no more. You don't even want to go in the chat box and type to people anymore. You're forgetting everything. Life gets hard because you've completely drained yourself. You haven't been pouring into yourself. You've been empty. Okay? You've been empty for a long time. And that's what happens to people that try to pour into people from an empty cup. They start to more and more and more and more. And it gets hard. And you know what? I've been there before. And I'm telling you guys, it's not a good feeling. Now, at any time that I feel myself going into a slump at any time, I remind myself, Neno, you're a leader. I know you're going through it, bro. I have a conversation with myself. Yo, Neno, I know you're going through it. I know things are hard right now. But at the end of the day, you got to show up. You got to show up. Go read that book. And you know what would be the funniest part? You start reading and then you realize that, I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, but you ever started reading a book after not reading it for a while, and then the book feels like it's talking right to you, like it was like, yo, I needed to read this, like, or you start listening to an audio and an audio tells you exactly what you need to hear at that moment in time, and you start to feel guilty, like, man, imagine if I would have just did this 2 weeks ago. Imagine if I would have did this a month ago, right? Every single time, right? It happens. No, it happens. But we got to remember that, and that's key. Okay. And the reason why I tell you that is because I know a lot of us are in momentum. We're striving, we're growing. My best advice, keep pushing. When you're in momentum and everything is working your way, keep pushing. You're doing great. That means that you're in flow, right? You found out that flow. You're waking up, you're doing that morning routine, you're doing your trading, your social media is on point, you're consistent, you're in that flow. If anything, just keep pushing and do a little bit more. But for my people that, you know, have been going through some tough times lately, and maybe this October hasn't gone the way that you wanted to yet, and it's the start of the fourth quarter, maybe it's time that you take some time over the next few days and pour into yourself. Because let me tell you what, don't think that it's going to take a month of you pouring into yourself for you to get in mode. Dude, there's been times that all it took was 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and I was back in that vibration. I was back in everything working in my favor. And from 1 day to another, my whole business changed. My whole energy and my team changed. The leaders changed. I attracted a new leader in my business. I made some money in my trading account. I made a huge sale here, this, and everything changed right away just because I decided to be selfish with myself and pour into myself. So what I want to let you guys know is that you are literally 1 day away, 2 days away, 3 days, a week away from putting yourself back into that mode that can help you finish the year off strong. But what I don't want you to do is to drain yourself of whatever energy you have left before the end of the year, because that's what happens to a lot of people. I've seen it happen to too many people where by October, November, they're so drained of just the year, the problems, the issue, the news, everything that has happened, that they kind of just take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. And then you just kind of just start letting everything just kind of go. And you're just like, you know what? I'll just wait till January 1st to start all over again. I'll just wait. I'll just let everything coast by for the rest of the year. And you start to let off the gas pedal and you start to drift. You stop doing the things that you were doing at the beginning of the year. You stop, showing up to the phone calls. You stop showing up to the trainings. You stop the reading. You stop the thing. And then guess what? It goes into the end of the year. All right. And then guess what? You start the year off as slow as can be. I told you guys this story last time, right? And I had a conversation with my leaders the other day. I said, right, there was 1 year where I took off the last 2 months of the year. I was like, yeah, that's it, bro. I'll start off in January. So I took off November and December. Okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start off strong the next year. And I took off November and December. The problem was that I didn't understand that those 2 months cost me the first 4 months of 2020. Because I took off the last 2 months of 2019. It cost me the first 4 months because the first 4 months I was making up and trying to catch up all of that energy, because I was basically starting from nothing. You got to think about it. I was starting from square one. So I had to start off from square one and build up my energy for 4 months. So instead of me running into that year and starting the year off strong and being able to leverage those, 4 months, I went into that year very slow, very stagnant, and it took time to build that momentum over those 4 months. So we got to make sure that we understand this. Do not let off the gas pedal. Not now. And don't be somebody that is pouring into people from empty cups, because that's the reason why certain people in your business, in your life, may not be moving. I'm telling you, you pour into yourself, everybody around you will grow. Your team would grow. Your family will receive messages differently. Your kids, think about it, for my parents on this call, for your kids will know the difference. Your kids will listen to you differently. Everything changes. Everything changes the moment you have a full cup. But what do you have to do to have a full cup? You got to pour into yourself. How do you pour into yourself? You got to be selfish. How are you selfish? Take time every day to work on yourself. How do I work on myself? Develop a morning routine. Wake up every morning. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than you usually do and dedicate an hour to your self-development. Dedicate an hour to reading a book, listen to audios, spending time with God. Look, somebody on Instagram said, my boy say it now, Mom, whatever you're doing, do more of it, because you're different. It hits different when your kids tell you. That's a mom, Miss Dunn. She started to pour into herself more. She has more vibrant energy. She's happier. She's more grateful. Okay. And her kids realized it, because kids, they understand energy. They're like, damn, mom is lit. Mom is happier. Mom doesn't complain as much anymore. Mom is not as mad or angry anymore. The kids realize that stuff, fam. And if you want to be that great example for your kids, because, I know what it's like I'm not going to say I know what it's like, but I see what it's like for people who have kids, because, my mentor just had, his daughter Sky. And I see how much he's changed. And I see how much more of a priority his daughter is, right? And he wants to make sure that he's the best dad and that she's the best mom, so that, guess what? They can be the best example for her. So this is important. You got to be selfish so that then eventually you can be selfless. Okay? This is key. That was point number 2 I wanted to make. Okay, this is important stuff. And it's funny because I was reading this book earlier, and I want to read this to you guys because it was something that I learned. Okay, and I thought it was powerful. I actually posted it on my Instagram. So listen to this real quick. Okay, because I'm actually getting into the last chapter of this book. Okay, and the last chapter of this book is all about the body. All right, so I've been reading about the spirit, I read about the mind, and now I'm learning about the body, like about the foods that we feed ourselves. And this is what it said, right? It said, scientifically, the mind is vibration and the human body is energy. When you nourish both, something magical happens. Vibration plus energy equals consciousness. Okay. Blockages in your energy field can start to be discharged because the food you are eating is no longer dead. It is alive with vibration, hydration, and most importantly, productivity. Okay. So what he's saying is this, okay, and I want you guys to understand this in this book. This book was so powerful. The mind is vibration, okay? So the mind, what we think about, okay? What are we thinking about? That is the vibration that will be put out, okay? Scientifically, remember, I'm talking about scientifically right now. The mind is vibration. So whatever we think about is what we will vibrate. If we're thinking in positive terms, positivity, love, gratitude, we will vibrate that, okay? So the mind is vibration, okay? The human body is energy, okay? Our body, this is energy, okay? Now, what is determined by our energy? What will determine our energy? Well, our energy is determined by what we think, okay? What we think determines what? How we feel. But also, what else? The food that we eat, okay? The food that we eat, the things that we pour into our body. Okay, this is why I always tell you guys, the best meal that you can have to start the day is a good, organic, plant-based vegan meal. Why? Because you got to think about it. That's the first thing that you're going to feed your body for the day. That's what's going to feed your body for the rest of the day. Okay. So you want to make sure that every day, like I said, guys, look, this is something that I'm working on. So it's not like I'm telling you that I'm perfect at it and I always eat healthy organic meals as my first meal. It's something that I'm, like I said, currently working on. But as you can see right here, you put your mind and your body, which is the vibration and the energy, in the right place. Okay. And it says when you nourish both, okay, when you nourish both, something magical happens. Vibration plus energy equals consciousness. You see how that works? Consciousness is what we think. Consciousness is energy, is a field. And the consciousness that we have determines the reality that we live. So I was like, man, I needed to read that because I wanted to learn more about this. And I'm excited to learn about like all the different foods and stuff. Cause, I know that there's things that, we eat and stuff that we haven't, that we shouldn't, but at the end of the day, it's important that we understand it. Okay. Now, the last and final point I wanted to make so we could wrap it up here. Okay. So we said selfish to be selfless. We said, number one, you got to help yourself before you help others. Okay, we said number two is don't pour in from an empty cup. Okay, this is important information. All right. And then number three is the service to many leads to greatness. Okay. But like I said, you're only going to be selfless after you've done the first 2 points. Okay. You helped yourself, you're pouring into yourself consistently, and now you can go and be selfless. Now you can service the many. Now you can service the many. You see how that works? Now you can serve. You poured into yourself. You read those books. You listened to those audios, and you've applied the information. Because remember, it's not just about service, service, service. No, you've gotten the results from the information as well. Go serve now. Go let people know how you were able to change your situation, how you were able to put yourself in a great place to win. Teach your community. Be an example for others. Go serve as many people as you want. Go get uncomfortable on Instagram and start a IG live story. I mean, an IG live series, or start a, and start a reels thing. Start something. Start something where you can pour into others, where you can give value to others. Start your own kind of like mornings with Nano thing, right? Where you are consistently pouring out value, on a day-to-day basis or on a once-a-week basis. It don't have to be every day, but I've seen people who have taken things and, started pouring in others. I know people that started podcasts, that started IG live series, right? You got to start a mastermind. Find ways to serve others, because now you've served yourself. Now you've made yourself a priority. Now you've poured into yourself. Because at the end of the day, there's no better feeling. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no better feeling than someone coming up to you and telling you, yo, thank you for changing my life. Thank you for recommending me that book. Thank you for inspiring me to grow a closer relationship with God. Thank you for teaching me the art of journaling. Thank you for recommending me that audio. It's changed everything for me. Thank you for the reels that you've been posting. Thank you for those IG lives you've been doing every Monday. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm telling you, it helps because now you're serving. Now you're serving. Now you're helping others. You know why? Because you helped yourself and you poured into yourself. And you know what? Helping others now feels so much better because you feel better. It's hard to, feel good about helping others when you feel down on yourself, when you feel empty. There's been times where I've been empty and people come up to me and tell me, yo, Nano, yo, bro, thank you for changing my life. Thank you for doing this. And, it's even hard for me to accept when I'm empty. But when I feel good and I'm full and I accept it and I love it so much. It's a different game, guys. I'm telling you, it is a different game when you are in a good state of mind because you've been pouring into yourself and you've been selfish with the time that you're spending alone. Everything changes. That momentum that you are waiting to experience will happen when you become selfish with yourself and you pour into yourself. That you want to get your leaders moving and you feel like your people haven't been moving. You can't get people to move when you're pouring into them from an empty cup. It's impossible. The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. And if the speed of the leader is slow because of his energy, if the speed of the leader, if his energy is off, his spirit is off, they're not going to go. They're not going to move. I promise you, they won't. I'm telling you because I've experienced it multiple times now where my spirit was low, my energy was low, I wasn't pouring into myself. And I would try to get, myself and my leaders to move, and it will never happen. No matter how many calls I did. No matter how many calls I did, they wouldn't move. And I would be like, yo, but why? It doesn't make any sense. But it was because my energy wasn't there. My spirit wasn't there. I wasn't pouring into myself. And that happens. And that's part of the game. So take this with you. This was something that came to me in meditation this morning. From the looks of it and from the hundreds already of people on this call, it seems like everybody needed to hear this message this morning. Type a 3 in the chat box if this was a message you had to hear this morning, right? Because it literally came to me an hour ago in meditation while I was sitting in meditation outside. Okay. And it just came to me, selfish to be selfless. And remember, the 3 points are as such: help others before you help yourself. Don't pour in from an empty cup. All right. And then go out there and serve. Service to many is going to lead to greatness. Be selfish first. Help yourself first. When you pour into people, make sure that your cup is full, and then you'll be serving your purpose. And it's simple, guys. It's something that you can go out there and start doing right away. Go pour into yourself. You'll be surprised. The people around you, your leaders around you, they pour into themselves daily, weekly, all the time. I'm with my mentor, Matt. He pours into himself. That's the reason why when he speaks and when he's talking to the team, we move because his energy is good. He's been pouring into himself. He's been growing that relationship with his creator. So when he speaks, his energy is transferred over to us. So if we feel that energy, we're like, damn, Matt's in mode. Bet automatically puts me in mode. Now my energy, he transfers it over to me. Now I'm transferring the energy down to the family, to the team, and now the whole family starts to move. But you see how that works? If his energy is not as good, maybe I don't feel it as good. And then maybe when I pour it in to my team, maybe it doesn't hit the same. So you got to see how it trickles down and how it works out for the whole organization, for the leader to be in the right place, for the leader to pour into himself, for the leader to make sure that he's being selfish an hour a day, 2 hours a day to pour into himself so that then he can pour into others. All right, fam. So with that being said, that wraps up today's call. I'm glad that we were able to get this call in, and I am super, super excited for all of you. I'm actually excited to see what you guys are going to look like and what the energy is going to be like over the next few days. Okay, now that you guys are going to take some time to be selfish and pour into yourselves, I think that that's going to be dope. We got the mornings with Nano page back and rocking. So I would really appreciate you guys if you guys follow the new mornings with Nano page, not the new, but the page that we always had there at Mornings with Nano. If you haven't followed the Mornings with Nano Instagram, Long Live Nano is my only Instagram. Make sure you guys follow that. As you guys know, we also have the journal out right now. People have been loving the journal, guys. So if you guys haven't gotten your Mornings with Nano journal, take advantage of it. It is a dope journal. Jasmine created it. She did a phenomenal job with it. You're gonna have gold cards in there. You're gonna have places to keep your notes all together. There's trainings in there that you can use. There's a place for you to write down, 100 goals, and I love that, and for my people that do have the journal, guys, when you go to that goals section where you got to write down 100 of your goals, do your best to put all 100. You don't have to do it all in one day, but like start thinking about things that you want to accomplish. Like, if you want to make a certain amount of money, if you want to travel to a certain country, if one day you want to learn how to play the piano, like think about what are 100 goals, because it's gonna expand your mind. Because even for me, I started to do it and I was like, man, I was at like 20, 30 goals already, and I was like, man, I got to get creative now. And I started thinking about, like, I want to open up a restaurant, and I started thinking about I want to own an NFT company, and you start thinking of wild goals, and it starts to expand your mind as to what you got to do. You got the gold cards there as well. There's some dope trainings that you guys can use that Jasmine gave you guys in there that you can use to teach as well. And it's a great place for you guys to keep your notes organized for the mornings with Nano. Me and Jasmine were talking the other day. We're going to work on another one already for 2023. This is just one that we wanted to get out, get you guys in the community, but just know we got a lot of things coming with that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Turn on the post notifications as well. And with that being said, I think that's everything right there. Jasmine, let me know if there's anything else I got to go over. But that's everything. And then we're going to do our quick prayer, and then we're going to get out of here, fam. So quick prayer, bow your heads, fam, and let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for blessing us with this beautiful, abundant Thursday that we get a chance to wake up and just become a better version of ourselves. Today, we learned some valuable lessons about being selfish with ourselves and making sure that we're working on ourselves daily. Because at the end of the day, we want to be the change that we want to see in the world on a day-to-day basis. And in order for us to do that, we got to make ourselves a priorities first. We got to make sure that we're pouring into ourselves daily. We're taking care of ourselves daily. We are loving ourselves daily in order for us to be that love and that light for others. And we are thankful for that message today. I'm thankful that you revealed that message to me in meditation. And I am so thankful because every single one of us on this call today needed to hear that message. And there's no better leader and no better person for us to follow than you, God. So thank you so much for everything. We love you. We appreciate you. We give all the glory to you. And we thank you for all that you're doing for us, whether we understand it or not right now. We thank you, God. So we love you. We appreciate you. Let's go out there and have a great day. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 All right, fam. So love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hope that you guys are having a phenomenal day and that you continue to have one. Go out there, be strong. If you haven't taken the time to be selfish, maybe take the next 45 minutes, take the next hour, and do it right now, right after the call. Don't even wait. Don't even wait. You know what, Nano? You're right. I haven't been selfish with myself. Let me take these next 45 minutes, an hour, and let me pour into myself. Let me read a book. Let me listen to this audio. Let me write in my journal. And I'm telling you guys, it'll make such a big difference. Just do it right after the call. Don't even wait. The moment the call is over, pour into yourself if you haven't today. All right, fam? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you guys tomorrow.